Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Madita, and I used to have this really big obsession with Wattpad. I didn't read anything except Wattpad. I thought today I could show you all the Wattpad books I have in paperback versions because a few were published by Wattpad themselves and a few were self-published. And I just want to show you my collection, I guess, and tell you which are worth it and which are not, because there's quite a few that aren't worth it. I used to read Wattpad in secret because I was so terrified that people would shame me for it. And now I'm sitting here talking about my Wattpad books. There is no real order to this video. I'm just gonna start off and then I'll tell you if I recommend it or not. So let's get started. Number 1 is the Did I Mention I Love You trilogy by Estelle Mascam. And I think this series is the reason why I have a hatred for step-sibling relationships in books. This was published on Wattpad, but I never read it on Wattpad. I only read the published version, and I just want to tell you that I do not recommend this series at all. This series is about, I don't even remember their names, Eden and Tyler, and they're step-siblings, and little spoiler alert, at the end of the book, they end up together, but their parents also stay together, and I was just absolutely confused by that. It's also so toxic and stretched out so long for no reason. Like, he leaves multiple times, then she leaves, and it comes out that they're dating, then the entire town hates them. This is just not a good series. I'm gonna unhaul these in my next unhauling video just because I don't want them on my shelf anymore. I kept them because I thought, oh my god, memories. But bad memories, so I don't really want to keep them anymore.
Oh my god!
Next, we have an absolute classic, and that's The Bad Boys Girl. When I read this first on Wattpad, I loved it. I was excited to find out about this book. It's a love triangle, obviously. There's this bad boy and this good guy, and it's just, I loved it. There was fake dating in here too. Many different plot lines, and just like the, I'm gonna fake date you so you can make the other guy jealous and he will finally start dating you. I liked it. Her name was Tessa, which was always like, oh my god, Tessa Harden, is that your inspo? Kind of felt like it, you know what I mean? And then the third book wasn't on Wattpad. That was like the entire, I guess, game from the author. So the third book was only available in published version, so I bought all 3 books and I read them all in the published version too. And I'm gonna be fully honest, in the end, I did not like it that much. The guy she ends up with at the end was not fun. I did not like him at all. And Tessa was just a pick-me girl through and through. She was a not like other girls girl. Oh my god, you guys like go shopping, I read. Oh my god, you guys like, you wear high heels, I wear Converse. Oh my god, I'm so different. Like, I don't even wear makeup. Like, this is, I'm like so different than every girl. Like, I don't like drama. And it was like that, and I was just super annoyed while reading it then. Since I didn't like the ending, I don't really recommend this. I just bought it because I was so frustrated. I had to know in the end who she ends up with. Obviously, we start off in high school, and then they get older and older, and it just got annoying over time by how indecisive every single character was. So far into this video, there are not really a lot of books I recommend. Ooh, then however, this is so good. Okay, so The Upside of Falling is a Wattpad story, and I read it first on Wattpad. Absolutely loved the plot line, loved the story, was in love with the characters. I just thought it was a great fake dating book. I really liked it. It was cliche, but also fun. Mr. Popular, Miss Shy, like bookworm, football guy, and mean girl. Like, it was just so cliche, but so good. And the published version is very different than the Wattpad one, and I actually like the published version more than the one on Wattpad. There's a lot more depth to the characters, I think. So Brett's family had a better story, I think, in this book than the other one, and Becca I just really liked. But there were a few scenes I liked more on the Wattpad version than in here because they weren't included in here. So honestly, read both of them, read the Wattpad one and this one. Really liked it. And also I'm happy that I have this copy because nostalgic and just cute, and I loved it. Then I also have the published version from Wattpad, actually, Trapeze. I never read the Wattpad version of this book. Sorry everybody, but it was a paid book, and I'm gonna be fully honest. If the book is to be paid for and it costs as much as the paperback, I'm going to be getting the paperback. And I actually really like this story. It doesn't have a lot of, I would say, romance, but it does involve around a circus, and I thought it was really interesting. I never read about any circus stories, so I thought it was pretty good. The ending, however, if you don't like open endings, you will not like this because this has an open ending. Corey had to transfer to a new high school, so she met a lot of new people, new friends, yada yada, being a new girl at school and also being part of a circus. There's a lot of drama involved. Thumbs up!
Yes! Yes!
Okay, so next I have the Stay With Me trilogy by Jessica. This is the most cliche Wattpad-like book I've ever read. So much drama, so many plot twists, so many bad boys with motorcycles and dark hair and leather jackets, so many secrets, so many past reveals, so many evil people. I was so entertained while reading this. I read all 3 of them as Wattpad versions first, and then I bought these 2 when I noticed that this one was actually published. I was like, wait a second. So I bought these 2 and then this one. I haven't read this one as the published version though, so I'm wondering if it will be different. Because the 3rd book in the trilogy on Wattpad has so much drama, I was actually flabbergasted. So much was revealed, so many secrets came out, so much tension. I was entertained, like a new town, a new chance to stay alive. Ooh, but I do hate that these are not all the same size. Like, I do hate that, I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god, then we have an absolute classic, and that is Chasing Red! This book is filled with so much drama and so many plot twists and so much is going on. So this is about Caleb, who's like this rich guy, successful life, and this girl named Red, who he meets at a club. He starts calling her Red because he recognizes her with the red color. And then she starts living with him, and one thing leads to another. She doesn't want a relationship. She doesn't want his help. She wants to be independent and doesn't want anything from him. And then we go on with the relationship. Then past moments are revealed that make everything a little bit more dramatic, especially on Caleb's side. You're like, what the heck? Like, you are shocked. It is, however, still free on Wattpad, so I would recommend reading it first on Wattpad because it's the exact same thing. Then we have a few more books that are published by Wattpad. First is Cupid's Match. I love the story, I love the world building, I love everything about the story. I read every single other book in this universe on Wattpad because they're all free to read. And basically everybody in this world has a true match, and there's like this Cupid system that like tells you who your true match is. Like, Lila gets paired up with the Cupid, and that's not supposed to be a true match. Like, he's not supposed to be in the system, so everybody's super confused. She doesn't get why she's in there. A lot of drama, a lot of like, what's happening? And obviously, you know, they are in love at some point, and there's just a lot of drama. There's different arrows that can cause different things for humans, and it's like actually dangerous. I was super interested in this entire story. Then we have Lab Partners and the Bro Code, and both of these to me are like, okay, I would say. I don't really like this one plotline in this book that's pretty popular in gay romance stories, where like the bully is secretly gay and just bullies the gay kid. Stop doing this plotline. And then the Bro Code was too much bro frat boy language, because he obviously has to follow the bro code, but then this is like the girl he falls in love with. I'm gonna read out one of the bro codes to you. A bro shall always finish telling his joke. He shall never under any circumstances let it go without a punchline. Like, it was just a bit weird. And like the first one is bros before hoes. Like, I wasn't really a fan of this book. Then we have The Bad Boy and the Tomboy, and this is a classic. I don't know how often I have to say this. I know that Mason is technically one of the boys, but it's not in a way that it's like, I'm not like other girls. Actually pretty good, because her, like, the soccer aspect in this story is pretty nice. And then obviously we have Sam, who is just this bad boy, as it already says. And Cedric, who is Sam's cousin, obviously asked Macy out in the beginning of the book, but then Sam always shows up. Nobody knows why, but everybody's like, what the heck are you doing here? You will find out why. There's a lot of friendship in here, relationship, and all that stuff. Drama, pretty good. Loved it. Then we have Entwined, and I'm really mad because the 3rd book still hasn't been completed on Wattpad as far as I know. And this is like a fantasy, Greek mythology inspired series where every Greek god has a descendant. You all need to find your true match. And Avery isn't sure if she wants to find her soulmate or not, especially at this event. You know, there's different levels of gods that are more important. And it's a love triangle, as you can tell from the cover, because there's like one guy and then there's like the older brother, and you need to decide if you want to follow your destiny or not. Kind of like, you know, like Ever After High, but Greek style. Then we have The QB Bad Boy and Me and The Summer of 98, and I didn't like these stories. I'm so sorry. These were not my favorite. This is like quarterback and star cheerleader. You get a really sad plotline in this book that is revealed after a while, and obviously this is about the parents, so this made me like sad to read anyways, and there's like one of my least favorite tropes in here, so I didn't like this and I don't recommend. And the covers are also pretty fucking ugly. Like, look at the color combination. What is this? Don't like this. Then, however, The Opposite of Falling Apart is actually one of my favorite YA books, and it has a spot on my favorite YA shelf. Like, that says something. And this is a published Wattpad book. This is about Brennan and Jonas. Jonas was in a car accident and now has a prosthetic leg, and he has to kind of deal with that. He's pretty depressed and has to find joy in life again after what happened to him, because he thinks his life is kind of over. He is in a lot of pain all the time. And then it's about Brennan, who has anxiety, and both of them kind of support each other throughout this entire book to overcome different fears in their life and find joy in life again. And also, I got pretty sad at moments because a lot of the things in here were pretty relatable, especially the anxiety part. So I really liked this book for that aspect, and I liked how both of them heal throughout the book. The character development was amazing. Then I need to show you my favorite Wattpad book, and I want everybody to read this book. I want everybody to read the published version. Both are amazing and so different, and that's in 27 days. So this is about Hadley and Archer. So basically, Archer killed himself, and Hadley attends his funeral, and there she meets Death. And Death tells her that she has 27 days to convince Archer to not kill himself. So she has to go back into the past to save his life and basically rewrite history. I love this book so much. I really like the plot line. The Wattpad book is really different than this one, especially family-wise for Archer. I love how Hadley grew in this book and realized that people who she thought were good actually weren't. I love the family issues that are talked about in this book. I just really, really like this book. Then we have Crossing the Lines, and like, I don't know why I bought the published version of this. Okay, so basically midway through reading the book on Wattpad, I heard that it was published, and I really liked it like halfway through until the end. So I bought the published version and then continued reading the published version, and it turns out
I really don't like this book.
there are, again, tropes in here I do not like. Too cliche, but in a cliche way that I don't like. So Crossing Lines, read it on Wattpad if you want to, but don't get the published version. Next, I'm just going to show you a few of the books I have not read that I have that are published by Wattpad. And I bought these because the stories sounded interesting, and I honestly didn't want to pay for them on Wattpad, so I bought the published ones. So we have Chasing Everest. This book is about Everest and Beverly, and Everest has a really dark past and something in his life isn't going wrong, and the only girl who can really see him is Beverly. I am scared to read this, but super excited. I want to see what happens in Everest's life, why he needs Beverly to save him, how she can understand him and nobody else can. I also just really enjoyed the cover, I'm gonna be fully honest. Then I have the I'm a Gay Wizard duology. Wizards are fun. So I wanted to read about wizards. People who like thought they weren't wizards becoming wizards and then fighting some enemy in apparently the Nightmare City. I love this. It sounds super interesting. Then we have Fight for Her. I'm pretty sure I read this on Wattpad too. So this book is about like Miss Popular and Bad Boy Outcast.
I love that stuff!
We love cliche tropes, okay? So this is about the heir of $1 million company, the girlfriend of the quarterback, and just super popular. But then her brother dies and her life gets turned upside down, and then she meets the bad boy, Elijah. And Elijah is the bad boy outsider. No one likes him. He wears dark jackets, he's dark hair, brooding.
Rah, rah.
You know, that type of stuff. And then we have Night Owls and Summer Skies, and this is a sapphic romance story at a summer camp. Very excited about this. This is about Emma, who has a lot of fears in her life, and a lot of fears get unlocked in that summer camp. And I'm very excited to read this and see what happens. Those are the books I haven't read, and now let's go back to the books I have read. My Life with the Walter Boys was so entertaining and so funny to read on Wattpad, but I'm gonna be fully honest, the public version is not worth it, especially because I remember reading on Wattpad first and I was excited for the sequel, and the sequel was never completed. Don't read this if you don't like open endings, because this is the most open ending ever, and the sequel isn't completed as far as I know. But there is indeed a love triangle in here. If you don't like that, then don't do that. But there's like this bad brother and this good brother. Overall, it was still pretty interesting. Then I have the Sweet Addiction book, which I read on Wattpad, and I'm gonna be fully honest, I did not like it that much. I only bought this because I wanted to read Sweet Possessions, which is the third book, which is about a different couple in these two books. And this one was the entertaining one. This is my favorite one out of all three of these because I really like the girl and the guy in here. The guy is like this romantic who really wants a relationship with the girl versus the girl being like, no, I don't really want one. I just want to hook up. So it was fun. And this is also one of my first like spicy books from Wattpad that I ever bought as like a published version. So this was like a big step. I would say like, oh my God, new era. Then I have the I Need You to Hate Me books, and I read this one on Wattpad, and I really liked it actually. So I bought the first and second published. I haven't read the second one though. Like, don't come for me. Don't come for me. Kala went through a really traumatic thing, and she feels guilty because of somebody's death. She thinks she caused it. And then we have Ace, the outsider, and it's just about healing and finding self-worth again, and two damaged souls that kind of heal each other. This is not the complete book. I still need to read this. Next, we have Textrovert. Oh yeah, this was called the Cell Phone Swap on Wattpad. And I'm gonna be fully honest, the published version is not worth it. The Wattpad version is way better. On top of that, the cover is just not pretty. So if you want to read this book, read the Cell Phone Swap on Wattpad, but not this. So many things are different in this book that make me so confused, especially revolving around the plot twist. Like I don't recommend the published version. And then last but not least is the book. It's one book, but I got it two different because it's so long. It's Becoming Selfish by Liz Tomford. I just really enjoyed the story. I thought it was pretty good. There's an anxiety representation in here. Becoming Selfish, I got the first cover version, so like don't look at the cover because the cover is not pretty. So this is a best friends, a brother relationship. So basically Eli is like the star hockey player and he wants to be accepted in the NHL. He wants to go in there. He wants to completely focus on hockey this year. And then we have Logan, who just moved here to this new college to start over with her life, and she's totally focused on school. But then she meets her best friend's brother and things
Develop!
and I think the romance is so cute. So these are all the books I have that were once on Wattpad or still are and were published. And I know a lot of people always critique Wattpad, but if you search, you definitely find a few good stories that are really, really fun to read. And I mean, I had an obsession with Wattpad for a while, so we'll never let that go. Like, Wattpad will always be in my heart. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my content, you can subscribe. I hope you all have a great day, evening, nighttime, morning, whatever time zone you're in. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Go read a book. Read In 27 Days or Becoming Selfish or The Opposite of Falling Apart. If you haven't read those, I think you should definitely read those books. And yeah, again, have a great day. Happy reading and see you next time. Bye!